It was a warm, dark night. 6-month-old Nina slept quietly in her crib with her older brother and sister in their hut. Little did she know that she'd awaken an only child. Did you know that there's a tribe in the Philippines where over 25% of the men have been attacked by a giant snake? The tribe is the Aita, who live in the isolated mountain areas of the Philippines and considered the earliest inhabitants of the country. In 1976, anthropologist Thomas Headland interviewed the Aita extensively on the subject of giant snake attacks. Living in such close proximity to these giant pythons makes the Aita more susceptible to a snake attack than most humans, forcing them to learn how to defend themselves against these belly-crawling beasts. But even though these monster reptiles feed primarily on small mammals like wild pigs, the Aita are a small race of people. The average Aita tribesman is under 5 feet tall and weighs less than 100 pounds, which means there isn't much difference in size when comparing them to a wild pig. Thomas and his wife Janet spent over 24 years among the tribesmen, documenting some amazing reports. Of the 600 tribal people, he interviewed 120 of them. 2 men had been attacked twice, 15 bitten, and 11 had permanent scars to forever remind them of these deadly snakes. Between 1934 and 1973, 6 Aita members have been killed by a giant snake attack. One man was found still digesting inside the body of a massive python. And perhaps the most tragic incident was the evening a man named Tatang walked into his children's hut. Something you only see in horror films. Tatang found his son and one of his daughters dead on the floor. A huge killer snake had one of his children wrapped in its coils and began swallowing her head first. The father pulled out his bolo knife and frantically slashed the snake into pieces, but it was too late. His baby daughter Nini's siblings were dead. What kind of snake could eat a man whole? That would be the world's longest snake, a reticulated python. Now, while large constrictor snakes are known for being docile and ambush-only predators, Thomas Headland's research shows that in this area of the world, these pythons seem much more aggressive than usual. Thomas Headland was quoted saying, "I've lived in the rainforest longer than any American scientist. I've seen things out there I saw in Tarzan movies when I was a kid. 3 or 4 times, the pythons came into camp and killed chickens. One time, a man saw a snake coiled around his dog, and he killed it with a machete. My wife's killed 1 python, and I've killed 1. The largest python that he ever saw was a 23-foot reddick that was shot and killed by his neighbor. This was the 3rd largest snake on record at the time." This python is massive. Could you imagine living in constant fear, knowing that a python of this size could jump out of the bushes and bite you in the leg at any time? Do you think this python would have had any problem swallowing both of those guys? Now you can choose next Tuesday's episode by commenting below. Will it be the live green anaconda that ate the alligator, or a Thai farmer's shocking snake discovery?